This is Total Babble. Total Babble. It's a show about music, pop culture, social media, movies, the internet, relationships, TV, whatever. Total Babble. The Total Babble Podcast.
And welcome to the show. As we like to sometimes say, this one might suck. There's a very good possibility. I'm in a bad mood because of stuff going on in my daily life. And then dearest Emily has a horrible migraine headache, but she's shown up to do a show, and I clap for you. Thank you for at least showing up. My hopes, my thoughts, my dreams today are that the show is going to be so fun that it pulls you out of your terrible migraine and it makes life better. So if she's a little bit low-key, that's why. Hello. I'd say how are you, but I know how you are.
Thank you so much. It's not every day that I come to the show and get the clap, so thanks very much. I really do appreciate that. Go me. Rock and roll.
Leave it to you to make a clap joke out of a migraine. There you go.
Hey, before we got on the air, I received a message from my youngest son. My little guy has gone to one of those bowling game places.
Yeah.
I got a voice message from him just before we got on the air. And it says, I'll have to send it to you, in fact, so you can infuse it into the show. But it says,
I'm not having a good time. Someone just dropped a bowling ball on my leg.
Watch out for your boy, because I had that happen one time. I was out bowling with friends, and a drunk friend dropped a bowling ball on my foot, and it swelled up and got big and massive, and I lost toenails, and all kinds of bad things happened. So your boy might lose a leg is what I'm saying.
Right. So now I'm trying to get a read on how bad is this situation, and I'm assuming it's not that bad because the school hasn't called me.
Yeah.
And then
do you want to call him on the show? We could do that.
No, I'm not allowed to because he's not supposed to even have the ability to communicate with me. He has a watch that he can send me texts and voice notes, but he's not supposed to at school. Like, oh, sweetheart, are you okay? And just as we've gone live, voicemail.
Yes, I am. I'm having lots of fun.
Great.
Okay,
Here
boy.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate the... He's so histrionic, this kid. Did I tell you about Halloween and the wasps?
No, but I want to get to the show, and I'm going to give you this as I try to work you through your migraine. If we can get to enough stuff here today, I have a YouTube out of context. So I'm just saying, do you want to do that story? Do we want to try to get to YouTube out of context? Because it's a good one. It features a cute girl.
Okay. I mean, I am into YouTube out of context, not so much the cute girl, but I do admire your efforts to try and get me to stay on track and follow some semblance of a show flow.
I'm all for going completely off track, but sometimes we go so off track we don't get to much of the show, as we've discussed. So, I'm just saying.
But isn't that the show?
Yes, and sometimes no. The shows are always good no matter what. I'm just saying I have 5 pages of stuff that we never get to.
Well,
and some
let's
of it,
get to it. I can't wait to hear what we're talking about today.
Well, hopefully it doesn't suck now because I've set it up like that. And if it sucks, now it's on me.
Only time will tell, Stu.
There you go. Just a quick thing. I've been out in the neighborhood this week, and one of the neighbors, it kind of related to kids, had like a big bouncy house set up. I guess they rent them for kids' birthday parties and that kind of thing. And it was massive. And I said, this is fun. I'm going to be a kid. I'm going to go in there and just bounce around with the kids. And there was this guy there, and he stopped me. And I said, what's the deal? I'm just wanting to have fun. And he said, no. And I said, what? He said, no, you'll die. We got into a little bit of an argument, and it turns out they were just having the place fumigated. Thought it was the best bouncy house ever, and they wouldn't let me in because chemicals.
Because chemicals. That's so funny.
All right, and I just set up for that joke, and there you go. Disney Plus and Hulu had this deal where it was $3 a month for like a year, so I got that, and I wanted to mention to everybody that we've talked about Elton John, and his new documentary just came out, Never Too Late, and it's really well done. And it talks about the early good part of his career and just all the stuff that he's gone through. He had a shitty childhood and drugs and pressures of the business. And it talks about Bernie Taupin, who wrote all of his lyrics. Elton does the music and Bernie does all the lyrics. A lot of people don't know that. And they show him with his kids. And speaking of kids, as we've done a couple times now, he is just the best dad in the world. And you can tell it's not really put on. It's very genuine. They show him FaceTiming with his kids. And then at the final show of his U.S. tour, he brings them on stage. And he's just the best guy. And I almost cried and welled up at the end. And if you're one of those people that can watch a documentary on any band, even if you're not into them, great, you will love this. I'm kind of into him. I know the hits. We've talked about that. But it's just really well done. And it's brand new on Disney+. And the thing that I noticed about Elton John is that with my music friends, where I say I'm trying to grab onto more of his music and get into the really good stuff, all of my music friends, each one recommends a different album. They go, oh, this is the best one. Oh, this is the best. No, it's this one. And that, I think, really says something. So I just wanted to mention that. And I feel really good that I got through all of that while you were holding up a cat in my face. And I didn't even get flustered by the cat, because you had this whole thing at the beginning where life is falling apart and you've got a migraine and, oh, there's cats in the room. And I said, well, your problem is you've got a cat.
Yeah, exactly. Hard to concentrate, isn't it, Stuart?
Well, I just think, my God, you've got a cat there. What are you doing? That's the thought that goes through my head. I'm not scared. I know the cat is not going to get me through a computer screen, but I think, holy Christ, she's got cats. And I know this, but it hasn't been demonstrated yet.
I need to get both of them at once because they're almost identical.
Yeah, I don't need to see them. I've seen cats. I believe you.
The musical?
Yeah.
Magical Mr. Mistopheles. See, everybody remembers Memories as the song. I disagree. It's definitely Magical Mr. Mistopheles for me. That's the banger. That's the tune.
I only remember whatever the AIDS song is from Rent, and I don't even know what that is. I just know people talk about it.
Yeah.
And I know West Side Story. Maria, I just met a girl named Maria. When you're a jet all the way. Something, and we're probably not gay. I don't know.
I don't remember Rent. All I remember is the South Park piss take song, which goes, AIDS, 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 AIDS.
It's funny how I haven't watched South Park in forever, but I've still managed to see all the really good, important episodes.
I don't know when I will let my kids watch it. Although my son just started a new PE unit at school.
Physical education.
Physical education. It's a nonsense PE unit. They just finished doing hockey. And so I was like, okay, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, we're doing dodgeball. I was like, perfect. I was like, if
I
you
thought
can
schools
dodge
had outlawed that.
Me too. I was like, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. He's
Right.
like, what? So I showed them both the Ben Stiller movie Dodgeball.
I like to call it the Rip Torn movie, but to each their own.
The Rip Torn movie.
Right.
It is great. He plays the coach in it. And so I'm going to show them that this weekend.
Good. And then show them Defending Your Life. They'll never get through it. Have you seen Defending Your Life?
I have not.
Oh, it's an old-timey movie. It's paced like an old-timey movie. It's not very fast, but you should watch that movie. It will warm your heart and make you look at life a little bit differently. Albert Brooks, Meryl Streep, Rip Torn. It's one of the best movies ever made.
Actually, I think my husband is a fan of this movie. We've talked about it before. It's on our list.
You die and you go up to the judgment center and you have to defend your life and say why you should get into heaven. And it's really a great movie. And Rip Torn plays one of the lawyers. And Meryl Streep is Meryl Streep. She's great in everything. And I love Albert Brooks. And it's just one of the best movies ever.
Amazing.
All right. Drone sightings. What is the deal there? There's these drone sightings happening all over the country and I guess the world now. now. They are at least military grade. They are like the size of cars, most of them. They're happening in New Jersey and here in California, even Temecula and San Diego, and I guess now all over the world. You're chomping at the bit. I can tell you have things to say, but I don't know that we even need to really discuss it because Rosie O'Donnell has figured it out. She's commented on it, and here's her comments. And also, it seems, if you listen close, that Rosie is infested with crows.
That's just a plane, not a drone. Now, can we stop calling them drones? They're obviously UFOs, people. Come on.
Technically true.
It's all over the world now. It's not just in a little thing in New Jersey. Just saw one from China today. It's all over the world.
China.
What do you think? That some country, Iran, has the capacity and the capability to monitor and fly these drones all over the world at the same time? Doing the maneuvers that they're doing? I mean, not trying to scare everybody, but they're here. They're here.
Have you seen a drone show, Rosie?
Yeah. Well, she's an expert because she is, and she's got the crows. The crows are going, don't listen to her. She's a crazy person, I think.
And the powers that be don't want to acknowledge that because that leaves them with a higher authority. Nobody's going to care about Trump or Putin or all of the strong men in the world who are dictators and cruel and evil. No, they're not going to have the power that they had if this is true.
That
the
explains
aliens
it all.
are here.
That's it.
And they're obviously superior to us in many, many ways. Let's hope they don't want to just, blow us up.
Is she opening candy or typing? And is somebody doing renovations?
She's big on TikTok. She doesn't give a shit about production quality. She just goes on and spouts.
Let's hope. And I wonder why I'm not sleeping, right? But I think it's ridiculously head in the sand to think these are drones that are from another country that just happen to be all over the world at the same time. It makes no sense, people. It makes no sense. You can't be afraid to look at the truth. That's what I say. You got to face it head on, right?
Oh, yeah.
And what's the truth here? There are so many in the skies above our planet. And the government is not having daily press conferences to tell us what the fuck is going on. Question that a lot. I question that a lot.
And it means more if you say it twice. That's always the case. So, yeah, Jesus Christ. I only replied to that and I said, source, and I haven't gotten anything back. So all this is going on. That's not to be denied. I don't know what it is necessarily. What do you think?
Well, first things first. I had no idea that this was going on until my dad sent me a message going, "What's with all the drones?"
Well, Dad.
It's like, well, great question. As you know, I try to avoid the news at all costs.
Yeah.
Allow me to consult the internet. And I was like, oh, wow, this is great. And then the first thing that I said was, why are we calling them drones? Why is the assumption that they are drones? Why did we go straight to Drone Town?
Well, because I think they are identified as drones.
How?
They, I guess, have people look at them on radar or maybe do flybys to determine that they're drones. Apparently, they're big, at least military-type drones that are the size of cars, most of them, from what I understand.
How do we know they're drones? How do we know they're unmanned?
I guess
How do we know,
I guess when I'm grabbing onto your point, you could be right because we're only getting what we're told.
And they're not showing up on radars. Like, that's the other thing. Like, they aren't showing up on radars.
That for sure?
Well, all of the reports that I have read, and by the way, it's not exhaustive.
You haven't devoted your life to drones.
I have not devoted my life to it. But as we know, the authority Rosie has, Lord Emperor Rosie O'Donnell has, so I'm inclined to side with her. However, she has looked to the skies.
Yeah.
I've only looked to the interwebs and poorly researched, poorly written articles. However, the ones that I'd read was that it was mostly people who'd sighted them. They hadn't shown up on radar. Some had even appeared over airports, but hadn't shown up on radar around the airports.
For sure, at airports, and there's an Air Force base in Ohio that had to close airspace for close to 4 hours on Friday because they had drone activity.
Right, and that they're assuming that they're drones because of their movement is droney. And
People
by
at home are missing the hand action with that. Oh, it was so good.
And droney, for those playing at home who can't see my glorious hand action, is biodirectional and rapid, up, down, round and round. Just think, I don't know, Donkey Kong or early Street Fighter joystick
That's weird because
action.
that's exactly what I thought of when you did that. Perfect.
Yeah. Just think the joystick on Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
Sure.
Is that how these drones are moving, as opposed to the Blue Angels?
Well, I guess they call them drones because of the way they behave, and what else are you going to call them? And really, they could call them anything. And if they were space aliens, maybe they would call them drones anyway.
Well, just imagine you're at the PR meeting, and if I was, I'd definitely call them drones. If I'm at the PR meeting going, all right, guys, what are we going to call these things? Cat's out of the bag. Billy Bob has seen them. There are way too many people who've seen these. There is footage on the internet. It's entered the collective consciousness. The cat's out of the bag. We're going to have to make a statement that they obviously exist. Right, what are we calling them? UFOs? No. Incorrect. Too scary. What? Drones. Great. Ship it. Yes. Drones.
And then they say they're not going to say anything else about it. They say they're not a threat, but they're not going to say anything else about it. And then the next logical question, well, Trump, dipshit, immediately said, they should shoot at them, they should shoot them down. And I thought, great immediate reactionary reaction, dipshit. But then I thought, with all of this going on, why wouldn't you shoot one down to figure out what it is? And you wouldn't do that if you already know what it is.
If you already know what it is, you wouldn't shoot it down.
And you especially wouldn't shoot it down if you already know what it is, and if you wouldn't want to piss off whatever is behind it, perhaps. Whether that's a country or alien technology, I don't know.
So I did hear a conspiracy theory on it.
Yeah, they're just going nuts with this. Like, of course, they're all over the place.
Do you want to hear a conspiracy theory on it that I do not buy into? But
does it involve Donkey Kong?
No.
Street Fighter? No. Okay.
Not yet.
All right.
But they could be fighting in the streets.
Oh, there you go.
So,
put it on like Donkey Kong.
From the Trump camp.
This must be good.
Oh, spicy. You like it. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, there are people who believe that these are not UFOs, but they are in fact holograms that are being sent to scare people. Because if they are UFOs and there is fear, then we can declare martial law. If martial law has been enacted, we cannot change presidents. Biden will have to stay president. Lord Emperor Trump cannot be sworn in. The Democrats will have to stay in. And so, as you can imagine, the Trump camp thinks that this is some sort of elaborate democratic plan to declare martial law.
Oh, the fucking kooks of the world. God
well, I
damn
mean,
it.
we couldn't, as you know, we Democrats have had a very long time trying to get this zombie apocalypse off the ground.
Yeah, we can't do that.
We can't do that. It hasn't. My son this morning told us a joke about the zombie apocalypse. He was like, "Hey, Dad, I've got some bad news, I've got some good news, and some really good news." Okay, so what is it? Okay, bad news, there's a zombie apocalypse. Okay, good news, I managed to kill 5 of them. Okay, really good news, when you kill them, candy falls out. Okay, what's the date? October 31st.
Oops.
Anyway, please continue.
Good.
It's pretty good.
So, yeah, of course, it's what Trump said, because you saw that he did immediately blame Biden, saying they know what it is. They're just not telling people, which he would say no matter what. But I think, what is this? Is this the government spying on us? Is this something in our world preparing for an attack because transitions are happening in government? Is that what it is? Like, I could see that probably before I could see space aliens. And this genuinely, when I'm seeing this, has kept me up a little bit at night because you know how I am about the Trump people. I feel like they're coming to get us, and the Jesus Nazis and Trump are coming to get us. And if they had all these drones everywhere, that is my biggest fear. To me, that would be more of a concern than if they were aliens, because if the aliens were going to kill us, they would just kill us already anyway.
Yeah, it's probably some sort of defense system.
And why are they doing it now?
Well, here's one reason.
Yeah.
Russia now has long-range missiles that are longer than they've ever had before. And they're currently testing them.
Not disputing what you're saying. I'm just trying to figure out how drones, as we're calling them, would factor into that defense system. They need them above to defend against incoming missiles?
I have no idea.
No.
Not my area of expertise. But all my brain is going to is what are precipitating factors, like what has happened in recent history that's all happening at around the same time.
Yeah. Well, we have this big transition that's happening, and, you know, the world that we have in this United States about to crumble, and we'll go into a dark period. That's for sure happening in my mind. And I just feel like that has to factor into all this somehow. And that's the part that's bothering me. I don't know. And then I think, what if it is aliens? What if the aliens are here to save us from Trump? That would be great, because I hold more faith in the aliens than I do in this incoming administration. That's for sure.
The other thing, too, like, if Biden knew what it was, Trump would know what it is, too. I don't really think...
Which is why he said that. He said that to make Biden look bad, and I think he knows what it is. And I think it's probably nothing based on that. I don't know. I'm thinking it through now.
Man, I don't know what it is, but I'm looking forward to finding it out. When I thought it was just one that was appearing over New Jersey, my secret Christmas wish was that it was a bunch of rednecks on lawn chairs, like floating up with just a bunch of LEDs. Yeah, just like a weather balloon and a six-pack, just going for a trundle on a Friday night, getting lit, floating around. Apparently not. Boring.
How do you think this is going to go? When do you think we're going to learn what the drones are, if ever? Or is it just going to fade away?
I don't think we'll find out.
It's just other news is going to happen and we'll just never know.
Yeah. There is also a big chance that it is nothing except a distraction from something that we shouldn't be looking at.
That's one of the other conspiracy theories, is that there's other bad shit happening or getting ready to happen. And this is supposed to be a distraction to keep us from that. And that borderlines on kooky to me. I don't know. I don't necessarily see that happening. But of course, kooks would say that. So who knows?
Every time there's like a big celebrity thing that happens that happens to make the news cycle, and I'm like, why is this happening? I always think that is to cover up something that's real news.
Yeah. I consider it. I don't usually buy into it.
I know it happens.
Oh, she said that like she had prior knowledge of it and had previously done it in the past. Huh. Do tell.
So it is a tactic that you use.
Like your famous celebrity client just got caught in a sex tape and you use something else to distract the media from that kind of thing?
Absolutely.
You worked with J-Lo, didn't you?
You give them a bigger fish.
Yeah. Give a man a fish, you'll feed him for a day. Give him a bigger fish, he'll sit on the internet. That's what they say.
Yeah. You trade for things. I mean, a very well-known version of this, and it's slightly different, right? A slightly different version of this, but a very well-known version of this is the
this
royal
Richard
family.
Gere with the hamster up his ass? Is that this one?
No, not this one.
God damn it, I thought
but
it was
I'll give you
one.
an example of wheeling and dealing and all of that kind of stuff. It's the royal family, and I'm talking about the British royal family. They have an agreement and an arrangement, right? If you feed the beast, they will leave you alone. So the royal family gives the media access to what they want and feeds them stories and gives them access and lets them take photos and does all of these sorts of things to hide the things that they don't want.
Right.
And people can say everything that they want about that, but it is very well known and it is very well orchestrated and it is a fact and everybody knows about it. And it happens everywhere to a greater or lesser extent. I'm just using that as an example because everyone knows about that. Right. It is an arrangement. And people talk about things like it's not like even a conspiracy theory, but if you look at the way that the news media is used to push stories, you do pay to have stories put in the media.
Right. And taken out of the media depending on the circumstances. Stormy Daniels, there you go. There's that.
Exactly.
Because the National Enquirer was running buckshot for Trump. Never thought I'd ever use the phrase running buckshot. You got all that. All right. All right.
Anyway,
so
we spent way too long on that. But
the drones,
true.
I don't know. Just save us or come to get us. I'm just tired of it either way. I'm just tired of everything. Help us or end it all. That's where I'm at in life.
I don't know. I'm having so much fun. Don't end it all.
You just became a citizen. And I'm interested to see if your citizenship holds because you mentioned previously on the show you're not that big into God. And I feel like the way things are moving, they may be revoking your citizenship in the coming months because you're not that into God. We'll have to see how it works out.
We are very fortunate to have a very multicultural group of friends. And for that, I'm very thankful. My eldest son was just invited to his first bar mitzvah, and through the course of that, he discovered something awful that I was very sad for him to learn about. A lot of his friends' parents are bigots.
Anti-Semitic.
And they're anti-Semitic.
As you started that sentence, I said, oh, she's in the South. I know what it is.
Yeah. And, you know, his mates invited their friends to come to their bar mitzvah, and their parents will not let their kids go. And my son couldn't understand why. And he's like, why? He's like, oh, because we're a different religion. He's like, yeah, okay, well, we are no religion. And he learnt all the prayers. And he wore all the right clothes and covered his head and did all of the stuff and you know, read shit in Hebrew and did everything because he's showing up for his mate.
And he's being respectful.
And he's being respectful and he's doing all those things. There's nothing wrong with showing up for your friend. It's not about you. It's about your mate. And his little heart was a little bit broken, actually. He's a bit bummed out and he now has a negative view of Christians, which he did not have.
I believe that's something you should be teaching your child. You should be teaching your child a negative view of Christians. I think it is a healthy, progressive way to go in our society, and I really think it's the best thing for us.
We are trying to let them make up their own minds about things. So we try to give them a very balanced perspective on stuff and then give them the opportunity to make up their own mind. You know, we give them all the different options and we tell them what different people believe and we ask them, what do you believe? We have 2 kids who actually believe different things.
Teaching kids to think for themselves. I don't know if that's the way to go, but you do what you want to do as a parent. That's fine.
I know, right? Let's see what happens. They're probably going to grow up and kill the CEOs of healthcare companies or something.
All right. So we have 2 topical news stories here. We should get to one of these before we hopefully get to YouTube out of context. These are both kind of timely, so I don't know if we'll ever get to the other one. I will let you choose. They're both fairly quick. One is a guess this news story. You kind of have to guess what's happening in the news story. And then there's buyer's remorse at a Subaru dealership. What do you like?
Well, I'm not usually one to walk past a story about lesbians, but I'm going to have to go with the first one. So
Took me a second on the Subaru.
Guess.
Okay, this one is very quick then. If we have time at the end, we'll come back to the Subaru, but here we go. In Thailand, A man was trapped in a well for 3 days, yelling for help, and the people in the nearby village ignored him. Why do you think that is? If I had Jeopardy music, it would be awesome. A man in Thailand was trapped in a well for 3 days, yelled for help. The people in the nearby village ignored him. Why? I could be a game show host. That would be awesome.
Why? Ignored him or didn't hear him?
They ignored him. Completely ignored him. Trapped in a well. Holy shit. What are they doing?
Well, they put him there.
Nope. Dark thought. Fuck it. Put him in a well.
Awesome thought. Suck shit, mate. I was like, this is genius.
That annoying fucker. Put him in the well.
Put him in the well. That'll learn him. Why did they ignore him? Wow. Maybe they had better things to do.
Well,
Maybe they had
obviously.
to finish. Maybe they had to finish something. Maybe they didn't speak the same language.
They thought he was a ghost. They heard him screaming constantly. They're weird, paranoid people. They believe that the forest is completely haunted. They won't go out at night. And they heard this guy trapped in a well for 3 days, screaming and yelling, and refused to help him because they thought it was a ghost trying to trick them.
Wow. Seems legit.
So there you go. The only reason he got out was because he kept yelling and there were police driving by and they heard him. It's a total coincidence that they heard him because he was getting so drawn out and had no water, had no food, that he was conserving his energy and only yelling every so often, hoping somebody would hear him. And he just happened to be yelling when the police drove by and got him out. And the people went, oh yeah, we heard it. We thought he was a ghost. Fuck that guy.
Wow, that is top shelf regional Thailand.
But then you think it's not that kooky when you think about people's religious views here that we have, and I'll make that correlation based on stuff we've even just discussed here today.
Seriously, I read a news article from my home country last week, and I sent it to my mates because not but 2 days earlier, I let them know that being a Jedi is actually an official religion of Australia, right? And now one of the fastest emerging religions is being a witch.
Now, witch or witch and warlock, because you go, dude, I think you're supposed to go warlock or something. I had friends that were into all the weird Wiccan shit, and I just looked at them and like, what the hell?
Yeah, I think it's like being a Wiccan, like, yeah, whatever that is. And so that's like emerging, and so that made me giggle because I was just talking about being a Jedi, and then I sent them that news article, and then I was like, well, so there you go, all of that sort of weird stuff.
Well, and I will tell you this, and it's interesting that you said Jedi. I had this in the back of my mind. I have the ability and the talent that when I'm at a grocery store, I can Jedi mind trick people to let me to the front of the line. I've done it so many times now, and I just did it the other day, and I posted about it in the book with the faces. I said I just did it again. I get in line, and you can't do it with like 3 carts of stuff, but if I get in line with like an arms full of groceries and somebody is in front of me, I can Jedi mind trick and make them go, oh, it's okay. You can go ahead of me. I've done it over and over again, and I did it the other day, and I was proud, and I said, I can be rented. If you want me to go to the store with you, I'll do it.
I wish you'd just stopped it. I could be rented.
Wow, that goes without saying. I'm easily rentable and deposit required.
For just any sort of cool stuff.
Yeah. All right, here we
Just
go.
ride my bike past your house, scream things out of a well.
Oh, I had to put an air horn on the lady with the dog the other day. That was pretty great. Because I've had to do that a bunch. And we have an understanding that if she doesn't leave her dog out barking and howling all day, I won't let off an air horn during the day. And then at 3 a.m., and she left the dog out the other day, and I rode by on my bike and honked the air horn, and she screamed something at me about you asshole. I didn't hear all of it because I had earplugs in because the horns are very loud.
I couldn't hear her over the air horn. I've got a business idea for Total Babble.
All right.
Your complaints, our business. So basically, anybody who doesn't have the nuts to complain loudly, return things, make a scene, we could call it "That's My Scene." That could also be pretty good. We could, and they could bring you stuff that they want you to get really irate about. It's almost like that Key and Peele sketch where it's like the rage interpreter, but you could be it for them. You could do it. You could draft the angry email. You could go and return the thing. You could be the person who goes and takes the spoiled milk and jumps on top of the counter and pours it all over. You could be the person who like flips a table and like shits on a desk. You could like Amber Heard the turd. You could do all of the stuff. You could like throw a burrito bomb. You could do all of the things. You could key a Subaru. You could do all of that sort of stuff. You could be the ultimate catharsis for those who dare not do.
I like this idea a lot. I think I could absolutely do it. The only thing is you have to be kind of careful because many of these things you're talking about are illegal, and I try to avoid the illegal, but technically letting off an air horn outside somebody's house at 3 a.m. is illegal. So, but that's low grade. I could probably do low grade illegal, and I'm sure good at yelling at people that are screwing somebody over as far as customer service goes. So, and then to be fair,
it's not illegal at 9:59 p.m. It's not illegal at 9:59 p.m.
But it makes less of an impact, too. 3 a.m. makes an impact, and then people are guaranteed not to fuck with you. Maybe once a year, I have to give her a little air horn adjustment, and that's the way it works out. So, I don't know.
You could do an air horn adjustment on the 4th of July, and it's not illegal.
There you go, because people are up till 3 a.m. with stupid fireworks anyway.
Yes, allow me to be the legal department. I will not, under any circumstances, participate in any of this tomfoolery. However, I will absolutely participate in telling you what you may or may not wish to consider, should you choose to.
As the representative for Mr. Stewart, I would like to make it known that something, 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 and the dog something, something, something. And they are therefore interfering with his business and his ability to record audio. And at this point, it is patronizing to the point of being a harassment. There you go. All right.
Or something.
YouTube out of context. We've come to this here today. All right. This is goodness. This is fun. This is where I take a video from YouTube, edit the audio so it takes out the important parts. It doesn't really give away what's happening. Then you and the listeners try to guess what is happening. I don't know if I mentioned, and my thing here is not going across. My universal control is fucking up now. God damn it. There we go. Here she is right here. Don't know if I mentioned. This is a cute girl. And she very much uses the cute girl thing to her advantage. And that is evident here as we start YouTube out of context.
Should I do it? Are they going to let me?
You can.
Today has been a little bit of a frustrating day because it was just driving to find out that either weren't open or just a lot of driving around for no EV, which can happen on some days.
Driving around looking for EV.
But it's only 9 p.m., so I'm just going to keep cruising around.
Yeah.
All right, now we are on day 7. So yesterday I did actually end up finding a that let me camp. I was there for 3.5 hours.
And she found something that let her camp. Thoughts? Guesses? Questions?
No, this is, for one, please let the record show. I've completely fucked my record on this one because I'm shit out of luck and we're like 30 seconds into it. So I'm distraught.
You're not done yet. It can take a little bit sometimes.
Oh, I'm distraught. No, I've got nothing. Let's go.
All right. So there's all this, and then sometimes as she does this, she runs into trouble.
We're going to be escorting you off property, but you can advise trespass, all right?
Yep.
Thank you.
You got it.
Is she one of these like van YouTube fuckwits who lives in her camper and she like...
No, but I was just watching one of those last night with a cute girl too, but that's not this.
No, that's not this? Okay.
Yeah, so they're asking to escort her off the property, and there's more of this.
Going to be escorting me off the property, and then he stopped walking. But now there's a security vehicle driving up to me, so I wonder if I'm getting a vehicle to escort me. Oh yeah, there's a security guard getting out of the security vehicle. Well, you don't have to follow me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't want to be recorded, then just don't follow me, you know? This security guard, the one that was in the video, is more respectful than other security guards. You know, they're usually following you right on your tail. I've even had them try to direct me as to where I should actually walk, like stand in front of me and not let me walk the quickest path to my car. So yeah, usually they're more aggressive about it. That guy was pretty respectful. He just didn't want me recording him, but respectfully, I need the content. I'm just recording what's behind me, and you happen to not be leaving the frame as I'm walking away, so that's on you.
So, any updated guess? Any thoughts? Ooh, this is a good one.
So, she wants to camp in places.
Camping might be a phrase. Camping might be more of an adjective kind of thing.
So she wants to set up in a place.
I'll give you this. At the end of the day, she goes into the bathroom and checks herself.
Once I finished my bathroom accounting, I also got this lovely trespass notice.
Bathroom accounting. She does that. Any guesses?
Bathroom accounting.
Yep. And I will say that if I could do this, this is something that I would do. I would totally travel around and do this.
I have got nothing. I'm intrigued. I think I'm going to fail this YouTube out of context.
It's not a failure if it's entertaining. That's what I always say.
I've got no idea. Bathroom accounting?
She goes to the bathroom to do her accounting.
Oh, she's not counting the poo tickets? Like, what is she...
You've guessed it. She charges admission to the stalls. That's what you know. So here is where she's playing dumb and cute. And this might completely give it away here at this point.
Am I allowed to bet more than $10 a hand?
Yeah, the minimum is 10. You can go to, there's no max.
There's no max? What does that mean?
So...
I assumed that it was, I only saw 10 on there, so I thought that's what I'm allowed to do.
Oh no, so there's no max. So,
she gambles?
What's that?
She gambles?
She is a professional card counter. She goes around and plays blackjack all over the United States and does this and makes tons of money. Let me play a little bit more of this.
And the bank will only pay up to $50,000 on the base bet. Yeah.
Oh, well, this changes things.
Listen to how cute I'm being. I had no idea. So, yeah, that is her job. She goes around the country and plays blackjack at casinos until she gets, they call it, what do they call it? They kick her out. They call it getting backed off. Sometimes she gets half-shooed. Check out how much money she makes.
Let's do a quick recap of the trip so far. So 8 days ago, I crossed the border with 25,000 US cash and a dream. And I played at 18 different casinos for a total of 28 hours of playtime. I've generated $6,500 in expected earnings, and my actual profit is just over $34,000. I am highly overpaid right now, and it feels fantastic. My biggest losing session so far this trip was my first session, and my biggest winning session was my recent session where I won $19,500. Makes me happy that I might get to go home and just teach blackjack on the school community again and hang out with my family. Being on the road is a ton of fun, but it is tiring just because it's very long hours. If I can just get another $20,000 session and send my ass back to Canada, that would be unreal.
She's Canadian, better than a normal person. And I always thought card counting was illegal. It's not illegal because it's just you using your brain and knowing how the cards work. And she goes around, and until they kick her out or back her off, she wins all kinds of money. And that was like 3 days in, she won all that money. And I guess at the end of this, as the videos go, she ended up making like $64,000. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. To be able to do that, that would be... I guess kind of frantic, like you're going, can I do this? Can I do this? But if you could do that for a living, how great would that be?
As long as you're not using any tools or devices or cheating.
Yeah.
You're only using your brain.
And honest to God, because she is a cute girl, she does the, oh, I can do that? Oh, I didn't know I could do that. She uses that a lot to her advantage. And I couldn't do that as a dude, but, you know, if you can do it, you can do it. And I think that would be great. And EV is expected value. They have these apps that keep track of all the casinos around the country and the way they do things, and you have an EV level of what you're expected to make there and win versus loss and all that. And it's almost like a science, and it's just like, wow. And just so that I mentioned the YouTube channel, it's Blackjack Advisors there on the tube with the U's, and it's pretty entertaining.
I don't gamble, so I find it intriguing. I don't gamble at all.
I could lightweight gamble, and I have a couple times. I've done blackjack at conventions in Vegas and that kind of thing, and it was fun, but I was like, this doesn't feel like I'm going to win, and I would rather keep my money.
Yeah. If I'm going to gamble, I think of it more like I'm just going to go and spend this money, but I don't enjoy the idea of, it's not a fun enough game for me to want to spend however much money it is on it. So I'd rather do something else. Like if I was going to go and spend several $100s on doing something, I'd rather go do a show.
Yeah, I feel like it's a for sure thing. I'm keeping my money, but then there's that intrigue and that carrot of, well, if I play this right, I could get so much more money, and I can kind of get a little bit of that, and I could almost go with that a little bit, but I think I have the sense to not go so full on hardcore with it to where I would lose my bank account.
Yeah.
And then if there was this cute girl, I would travel with her and play blackjack. I would do that.
I'm so weird. I don't know what it is. I don't have the whatever it is inside me. I say, how long would it take me to earn that amount of money? And then if I took that money and I invested it, what's the return rate on it? I do the math and think, what's the potential return if I gamble that? And how long would it take me to actually earn that money? Or if I took that money and I invested it, what could I get? Meh. Not worth it.
And you know what they call that? What you just did? They call that EV, Emily value. That's what that is.
That's what that is.
All right. Well, we got through that quicker than I thought, but that is good. It means we can play Buyer's Remorse at the Suburu dealership. Woohoo! We were talking about all the customer service experiences I've had, and you're timid and you might not do this, but maybe I would do this. Here's the news story. I'm warning you because there's a crash coming in your headphones and you have a migraine. Here we go.
It's the heart-stopping moment. An enraged driver crashes right into a car dealership.
I told you. Whoa! Whoa! Call the cops!
The
guy just took his Subaru and ran it through the front doors of a Subaru dealership. There's glass everywhere. He knocked over an office table, and it's really a thing.
Inside can't believe what just happened.
Is anybody under the car? No.
Tyler Slade is a manager at the Mazda dealership in Sandy, Utah.
Tyler looks like the used car salesman that you would expect. He's just got that air about him where you don't like him. And he sold this guy a Subaru, and the guy was not happy.
It was kind of a very, very scary situation.
The manager says earlier in the day, the driver had purchased a used Subaru Outback for $4,000.
Several hours later, he came back, and he was very emotional.
Based on the fact that he crashed the car through the front, we understand.
Upset about the vehicle, had been to his mechanic, said there were some things wrong with it. And he would, like to get his money back. He said, listen, if you don't give me my money back right now, I'm going to run this car right through the front door.
Slade says the driver got so worked up, he got back in the car and hit the gas. You can see the driver getting cuffed by cops. And here he is, Michael Lee Murray.
Michael Lee Murray looks about what you would expect. Kind of a big guy, beard, mustache, has the headband and the backwards baseball cap.
What on earth were you thinking?
I was just really angry. I was upset about my money.
And it's very difficult because I do have a lisp. I have that going on, and I've been tormented all my life because I have a lisp, and that is why I drove the car through the front.
Don't worry, Michael. Just say 7 sizzling sausages. I think it's cute.
Well, that is a good one.
And here he is, Michael Lee Murray. What on earth were you thinking?
I was just really angry. I was upset about my money. I kind of blacked out for a second.
But
you say that you blacked out because that way you can claim insanity.
Yeah, exactly. Michael, why did you buy a Subaru with a lisp like that?
These are angles I did not think of. You're saying he wants to be a lesbian, perhaps.
I don't...
I wouldn't mind being a lesbian. I'd be happy to be a lesbian. I would make that shift.
Well, It's going to be a couple of hoops you're going to have to jump through, Stu.
Those are big hoops, but, I could pretend people do.
Yeah, you might need to get rid of the goatee and other things.
Dress like a lesbian anyway,
This is true. Wait a minute. Do you have cargo pants?
I have owned them in the past. I don't currently.
Well,
I have a pair of cargo pants that are too big, but if they weren't too big, I would wear them. So what does that say about me?
Man, I just want to correct this story because I feel really passionate about this. This was a Mazda dealership because Michael, I don't know, some of my best friends are Subaru driving lesbians. And I just feel like Michael is not fucking cool enough. And so I'm really glad that he sort of removed himself from the club. This feels like everything is right in the universe. He has realized, he's gone to his mechanic. He's realized, you know what? 7 sizzling sausages and fuck this Subaru. I am not good enough. Me and Mike Tyson, we're going to get the fuck out of here. This is not the year for either of us. We've done our dash. Fucking no thanks.
I'm going to eat your children. I don't know if he said that or not, but...
Drive straight through the windscreen.
Yeah. So he thought he would just sit down and do this interview where he justified his actions, and that's what Michael had going on.
By the way, this is not a confession.
What on earth were you thinking?
I was just really angry. I was upset about my money. I kind of blacked out for a second.
But Michael, in what universe is it okay to do this?
I know I probably shouldn't have done it, but I guess I just hit a breaking point.
I guess he did too. And there you go. That's Inside Edition if you want to look it up, and Michael and all of his stuff. And there we go. I believe that is another show, and it's our last show before we're off for a couple weeks for the holiday. And my only concern is we're not going to do shows. What if something big happens with all the drones and space aliens? What are we going to do then? Are we going to have to wait 2 weeks before we say Jesus Christ with the aliens? I don't know. Why don't we make a pact that if we find out in the world that there really are space aliens and that's what they are, we come on and do a show? Because I'm all for the vacation, but that seems world bending enough that maybe we should talk about it.
We'll have to do an emergency broadcast, Stu.
Okay. I'm up for it.
Yeah. We'll have to do an emergency broadcast. We'll have to break up the holiday and have one.
Like, to me, that's world changing, and I'm all for my vacation. I enjoy it, but yeah, we should talk about that. So if we find out there's space aliens, I'll give you a call. We'll schedule a show.
Absolutely, and I'll do my best to sit down with one of the aliens and say, so Michael, in what universe do you think that this was okay?
Well, I like to probe the people, and when I probe the people, they get very complainful, and I bought a Suburu.
And our children are the future. And now they're Michael Jackson, apparently.
Yeah, you got to start with the man in the mirror.
If you're going to make a change, absolutely, Stu, absolutely. And let that be a lesson to all of us.
Make that change.
Make a change.
Happy damn holidays to everybody. I was going to do more of a Christmas show, but just didn't really feel like it. I didn't want to play the Christmas music and all that. It just seems like doing a regular show would be the best way to go. So everybody have a good couple weeks. Unless there are space aliens, then we'll be talking to you. And happy goddamn holidays, whichever you may celebrate. And thank you for all of it. Happy New Year. Oh, it's going to get dark next year. Have some fun now. There's my positive outlook.
Yeah, have some fun now. If you don't like the holidays, embrace the rage. I think there's a lot of people who, like, everyone's using this time to, like, be happy about the holidays. I think we should be, like, the one show who's like, let the hate flow through you, Luke. Like, everyone's into the holidays.
Feel the dark side, goddammit.
Fucking feel the dark side. You don't like the holidays? Fuck yeah. You don't want to celebrate with your family? Fucking don't. We are there to support you. Go for it. If you are, great. Also, power to you. Love that for you. Want everyone to be happy. And if your happy place is in the hate, go there. Enjoy it.
If you're one of those people that doesn't really have anybody to be with during the holidays, here's what you do. You better yourself. You go to the grocery store and you get a couple items and you stand in line and you work on Jedi mind tricking people to let you to the front of the line until you can do it consistently, and then you can move on to the next goal in life and go with that. Mm-hmm. And also keep in touch with people that love you, because there's always people that love you, and that's the best way to go.
Absolutely. This is a great opportunity that if you do get to have time off work, to calendarize self-care.
Yeah.
Take the time to really relax, get away from people, read that book you've been meaning to read, binge that show you've been meaning to watch, have all the sleep, eat that food you've been meaning to eat, and have yourself a good time.
And I get that I'm derailing again, but I need to. Did you watch all of The Penguin yet?
No, it's the next show on our list. We are finishing we're finishing Lioness, and then we're going to start Penguin.
You're probably going to need to binge it. It's that good. Episode 4 with Sophia. Holy crap, I'm going to tell you that. Greatest actress in a long time. All right.
I'm very excited.
And Colin Farrell, too. I say that she's so good, but you can't see him in that role at all. Anyway, we should go, because I always stop the show and then we keep talking. Everybody
and another thing.
Yeah. And let me say this. Everybody have a great holiday and a happy goddamn New Year. Bye.
Absolutely. And I know we were supposed to finish the show, but I do. This is my holiday gift for you. Yeah. This is my annual reminder to join the class action lawsuits. I mean, I'm not even joking. I know you can't see this, but I'm currently holding up a check for $47.86. Nice. It's for the Peters versus Apple Class Action Settlement Administration, because I get these emails that say, you may be entitled, and I'm like, fuck it. And I filled out the form. And it was a great idea, because this holiday season, I just got $47.86. What for? Don't give a fuck. But I'm using that money to buy my kids something for Christmas. So, ladies and gentlemen, join the class action lawsuits. You could get a couple of little bonuses. So open those emails and join those lawsuits.
That's what the holidays are all about. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, you know how this goes. Like us, subscribe, tell your friends, write a nice review, engage with us. We're Total Babble on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Threads. Email is show@totalbabble.com. The Total Babble Podcast.